Breathe. Hey everybody, how you doing? Thank you for tuning in to our brand new show on a brand new day on a brand new time. And as you can see up above, Paratech. So thank you for everybody for being here for the first time. Do you want to add to it or?
Welcome. Happy Saturday.
Caught her off guard a little bit there. So
I've got some antihistamines on board and I'm a little bit foggy, so I might take things a little slower than normal. That's what's going on. Allergies.
So we'll give her the mouse and then she could just control the chat and what pops up in here. So I'm sure at least a couple of you guys are wondering what the heck is Paratech. Hey, that actually sounds kind of cool.
That's why we named it that.
That should be a shirt. What the heck is Paratech? Anyway.
I like it.
So we have been changing up our channel quite a bit. As you guys know, we've been picking or having new days, new times for a lot of our existing shows, rearranging one of our shows, and bringing a new show to the table. And so for the past few months, we've been doing videos of us going out and doing like paranormal investigations, urban exploring. We've been doing Randonautica, did a Scaranoia. And, you know, we've talked about a lot about our past in the paranormal field, you know, that we've been around for a long time, long before YouTube.
Long before YouTube.
Long before, well, I shouldn't say before YouTube, long before the channel started on YouTube. And, you know, so we've shared some insights and some perspectives and some points of views here and there throughout the time. Yeah, she likes that idea too. I like that shirt. What the heck is Paratech?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to rewatch this just so I remember to create it.
Do it.
Hey, thanks for liking the shirt. Fits the show. But I just totally squirreled. So as you know, we also started learning more about Bigfoot. So we created a show, Learning Bigfoot. That's actually been moved to Sundays now, right?
Yes.
And what time is that show on Sunday?
Everything is at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. So there's no confusion on what day, what time. If it's not on at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, there ain't nothing coming on.
There you have it. So 6 p.m. Check, see if we're online.
Now that's not including the vlog channel. The vlog channel is just kind of wild card. So those might just drop randomly whenever throughout whatever part of the day. So we're talking about just this channel alone.
Yeah. And if you want to see Scout taking his first bath, yeah, that was a fun one. So it's a good thing I'm a good editor.
That was a lot calmer than I remembered.
No, he actually was calm.
He did pretty good.
It was just the vacuuming part. So anyway, getting back on track. So we rearranged our shows, we rearranged our times, and we are coming out with this new show right now called Paratech. What this show is this is the only one in the future plans that's going to be a live stream.
Right.
So what we're going to do is we're going to be recording future shows and then having them premiere on Saturdays for you. I just wanted to do this one first, be a live stream so I could answer questions for you guys and I could talk one-on-one with you a little bit more.
Kind of explain what it is.
And explain what's going on with Paratech. So I'm seeing a lot. The fam chat, unfortunately, we are having to close the doors on that particular show, only because anybody who's a content creator can understand that we have to look at numbers and we really analyze numbers. And if the numbers aren't really supporting the concept, then you got to change the concept. So we will still be doing a live stream for our Learning Bigfoot.
Right.
I will still have my unsupervised ones whenever I can actually get unsupervised. So those will pop up randomly though.
Yeah, he's been kind of supervised a lot lately. Not intentional. It's just
by Scout.
We have a puppy.
But yeah, so right now the shows we're going to have premieres for Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Learning Bigfoot on Sunday, Mountain Standard Time. And then you might get a wild card of me hopping online when I'm not being watched. But we're also doing a lot of things over on the family vlog channel too, so you can still check all that out as well. So, and if you ever want to get a hold of us, you can still reach out to us through our Facebook or Instagram. Do we still have a Twitter or
yes,
the Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay. You could tell who actually maintains our media outlets and who doesn't.
That'd be me.
I'm just the editor. But with that being said, what this show is all about is we are bringing back the core root of what TIPA initially was. Okay. So those of you who are new, who haven't heard before, TIPA originally stood for Technical Investigations of Paranormal Activity. That's what the definition for TIPA was, or the acronym, or whatever you call it.
Right.
And so we're going back to the roots a little bit. What we want to start doing is we want to start providing tech support for you guys. And even though we can't go to the locations with you, we can't set up cameras and all our audio equipment. We can't physically go there. What we can do is we can do weekly shows breaking down different pieces of equipment, how they work, why they work, theories behind them, and show our approach, the way we utilize the equipment, things along those lines. Now, keep in mind, it's not just equipment based. We're also going to talk about the other end of the spectrum, as I call it. We're going to talk about saging. We're going to talk about being intuitive. We're going to talk about the broad range of what's known as paranormal. We are going to have weekly shows where we break down different categories and break down different topics, and we're going to pick a different topic a week. And during these topics, or during these shows, we still need your interaction. Now, we love you guys in chat, and we'll be there during the premiere in the chat with you guys. Sure. But when we do these shows, we need you to comment in the comment section below, not this one, but in the future ones, of things you want us to talk about in the future. If you have questions about a certain topic or questions about a certain thing, we'll read your comments under that video. And then the following weekend, when we're doing our next episode, we'll address a lot of those questions for you. So we're still interacting with you. We're still reading your comments. We still want to, see and hear what you have to say about it. And we also want to look for new ideas. If you guys are curious about a new app that came out and you want us to take it in the field and try it out, we'll get the app, we'll take it out, we'll try it out, and we'll give you our feedback on what we think about it. So this is tech support for you guys. And there is information that I feel that I can share that may benefit some of you guys if you're out doing the paranormal investigation, or if you're just curious about what happens behind the scenes during an actual paranormal investigation. This is a lot different for me, because it's one thing when we're going out and filming a video for just a standard, hey, we're going to go out and film a 30-minute alone challenge, or hey, we're going to go out and film doing a necrophonic session. This is a lot different, because I'm breaking down the science, or at least what I consider science, as to the hows, the whats, the whys, not so much the where, but could be that. And we're actually going to cover it. And so what I'm thinking of for the first episode, non-live. This is one where we're doing a Q&A. We're reading the comments right now. She is mostly, but we want your feedback of topics that you guys want to learn more about. And there are certain things that people don't realize that there's something to learn about. I was just talking with somebody, another content creator who was in here earlier. I'm not sure if you're still in here or not. But I was watching the last video that was released. And one of the things I notice is when you're going through a location with a camera, knowing the right kind of lighting to have for your camera really makes or breaks how well the video is delivered in the end. So when you're reviewing the footage and you're going back and looking over what happened down at the end of the hallway, making sure you have lights that can reach the end of the hallway, knowing what kind of lights that are supposed to be used for those type of shots versus something just close up. We're going to break that down. We're going to break down cameras. We're going to show you how to tweak your settings depending on what kind of a session you're filming. So if you're in an area and you want to be able to go frame by frame to catch something like an orb or Amy, thank you. You are awesome.
Ooh,
We are excited
sweet.
about this new show. If you
Nice.
can't tell, if you can't hear it in my voice, if you can't see it in my face, I am excited about this new show because this is the roots of TIPA. This is where it came from. We
Yeah.
provided tech support for the local paranormal teams. We're branching out globally now. So now we're providing tech support for all of you guys. So we're going to break down, we're going to answer questions. And we're going to just be sharing our opinion. We can never say that anything is fact as far as, this, that, or
Right.
the other, but we're going to share our opinions, our insights. Some people will love us, some people will hate us. That's okay. Author
Oh my
Marianne, thank you.
heavens. You're so sweet, you guys.
Awesome. Thank you very much. But again, we really, really need the interaction with you guys. We really need you to give us feedback. We really want to answer more of the questions that you have, because one thing that I know for sure is that in like any profession, in any field, you're doing it for so long. What seems normal to you, the lingo, the slang, the terminology that you use on a regular basis, to you get to a point where it seems like, well, everybody knows what that means. But if you're talking to somebody outside of that profession and you say, hey, I used to work for the DME field, people are going to be looking at you like, what is the DME field? What does DME means? By the way, side note, that means durable medical equipment. So just putting that out there. It's came up in conversation before. And so we want to make sure that we can deliver the information to you in a way that isn't confusing. We want to make sure that you understand at least as much as you want to about what we're talking about, the topics we're covering. So we are really excited for this new show to be coming out.
It's going to be so much fun.
We've put a lot of thought together. We put a lot of time together as far as how we're going to create this, how are we going to deliver it to you guys, and are you guys going to enjoy it? And so we hope you're going to. I know I'm going to enjoy it because everybody knows that I like to talk.
Well, and he's good at tech. So, I mean, that's
Tech talk.
Tech talk.
So it's not TikTok, it's Tech Talk. Misty, you're awesome.
Oh my goodness.
When you have guests, I could talk about tarot in investigations if you need. Awesome, loving the idea. Now, we are having conversations about bringing people in to cover other topics outside of our scope. Yeah. And even maybe bringing people in that's that does know a lot of the similar or who's investigated with us before. So I want to keep this show about education. I want to teach. I want to share the knowledge that we've acquired through the years.
Yeah.
And I want to share what we continue to learn. I mean, we learn every day. And that's one of the things back when I used to run the team is whenever we went out on an investigation, one of my primary goals was I learned something new every time I went out, whether it be something new about myself, something new about the location, something new about the paranormal field. I didn't care. I just wanted to walk away with a new piece of knowledge that I didn't previously have. And so, with that being said, a lot of you guys could probably teach me a thing or two as well. So, I'm open-minded. I'm not closed-minded. If I have a show or if I talk about a certain topic and I find out later on that I was wrong or I was mistaken, I have no problem doing another show saying, hey, you know what? I learned something new, so with that out there. Patty,
What's
you
your
have
question?
a question? What you got? But yeah, again, we are really, really excited about this.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. Did we find a guest for tomorrow yet?
I am having to change plans on that one, so I have to get a new one.
Hey, Bigfoot, shoot us an email or we'll shoot you an email after the show. We got a favor to ask of you. No, Patty, by all means, feel free to ask your question.
Oh, did I miss it? No.
Yeah, she said I could ask later if you want. Yeah, I mean, this show right now is just the introduction. So let's do some live Q&A talking about this kind of stuff now, and that'll kind of get me warmed up for next week's episode where we start covering specific topics on specific equipment.
And I think that there's a couple of things non-equipment related that is going to blow your mind as well. I think I'm just so excited to show you something. So where'd it go? There it is.
So Patty asks, so in my last video, as far as lighting goes, how do I get a camera light that is good for filming, and how do you not blind yourself while filming?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I hear you. We blind ourselves every time.
That's part of the pros and cons of filming, especially when you're filming at night, because your eyes have to adjust every time you go back and forth from filming in front of you to filming behind you. So recommendation wise,
without my contacts, girlfriend, I'm legally blind too.
But her hearing and her sense of smell increases as soon as her contacts come in. That's a different show altogether. But so, this will be a great episode, but I'll give you a short answer as far as that question goes. One thing you can do is use 2 cameras. You could have one camera that's constantly pointed at you, maybe using night vision or something like that, and then mount it to the top of your primary camera that's pointing forward. That's one option. Another option is having 2 lights mounted to your camera. And what I mean by that is one light that have them both be like a push button or something like that. So when you're getting ready to switch the camera around, you just hit the 2 buttons, flip it around, and you have the lower light shining on you while you're talking to it. But when you turn it back, you just push the 2 buttons again and switch to the brighter lights. Another trick you can do is understanding the difference between ambient light and directional light.
Big difference.
And I think that's where a lot of people come into issues when they're trying to film paranormal investigations, is they'll either use the light that's part of their camera, or they'll buy one of the little box lights that mounts to the top of the camera, things like that. Those lights are specifically designed for ambient light. And what that means is it's a wide spread, but not far out. It doesn't reach a great distance out, but it scatters the light pretty wide. So it's great to see everything close up, but if you're looking down a hallway, you will never see what's down at the other end of that hallway. So what we do a lot of times, and you probably noticed, is we'll use a flashlight. We'll hold the flashlight with the camera. And so the flashlight will light up all the way down the hallway, and then the camera will also pick that up as well. So using multiple lights is definitely a good option if you have that capability. If not, it's just having a dial or having something where you could turn down the light when you're talking to it and then turn it back up when you're pointing it in front of you again. And just have a light with some kind of a control setting so you could bring it down for when you're talking and then bring it back up again afterwards. So there's a lot of different techniques that we could break down for that. So.
And then Misty's asking, will Learning Bigfoot still be live? Yes. Yeah. It's just changing day and time. That's all. We are having a hard time getting some people on at the day and time it was at. This should help solve that issue. And so other than that, nothing else is going to change on that.
Yeah. So we know this is a lot of big changes. We know a lot of things are flipping around. We know that we're trying to do some more beneficial things for everybody across the board. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a little confusing at first, but just be aware, if it's not live at 6, it ain't, or if there's nothing going on at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Yeah. If it's not premiered or live,
then it won't be that day. But we have a pretty good set schedule. I think it's listed over on the community tab if you want to ever refer to that. So far it's Tuesday, premieres on Tuesday at 6, Thursday at 6. Then we have Bigfoot on Sunday at 6. And then this show would be Saturday at 6. Sorry, I skipped that backwards. I don't know my days of the week yet.
Figuring it out, but it's coming. So Wicked Cryptid says, haha, no way. I rig my camera with UV, red, and regular light. Flashlights, they are small, but they do the trick. Hey, that's what matters. As long as they work for you.
Exactly.
We still deal with a regular basis. More so this amazingly beautiful, wonderful lady. She struggles with the bright light in her
I
face.
really do.
She does.
I've just never been good with bright. I mean, I have sunglasses year round. It doesn't matter what's going on outside. I have sunglasses with me because I'm just really sensitive to light. That's just me. So
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, if you have sensitive eyes, of course, that's going to play a factor. Also, keeping in mind that when you're in a dark environment and you're looking down a dark area or into a dark room, and then you flip this light around on you, it's going to blind you for a sec. So
yeah.
if you're doing it for YouTube, just be aware to give yourself a couple of seconds to let your eyes adjust before you start doing your dialogue, and then hopefully you have a good editor who can spot that and cut and splice and take that part out.
It also makes a difference if you're filming inside a building versus outside a building. You need different light for that as well. Outside is a whole new animal because there's only so far you can see. So
that's very
it depends
true.
on the moonlight, depends on your environment, depends on things it's going to reflect off of.
And then on top of that, knowing your camera, and say, I think your camera is going to be the make or break with the whole thing, because a lot of cameras, like GoPros, for example, they have a small image sensor, is what I believe they call it. They have a small sensor in it, so they're designed for daytime with lots of light and lots of stuff. But when you take a camera like that and you stick it into a dark environment, suddenly it's really pixelated. It's hard to make out what you're looking at. It's jumpy. It's like a digital breakdown where it doesn't work. So cameras with larger image sensors can actually capture more light with less amount of time. Again, this is going to be an episode where we really break down some different concepts of cameras. Now, when we get to the point where we're starting to talk about using phones in that aspect, that's probably where I'll talk with other people who do that on a more regular basis, because my cameras on every single phone that I have ever owned has always sucked.
It's true.
Even taking pictures.
It's true.
So,
and yeah, I don't know why, but it's true.
So I've always had to use handheld cameras and things like that. So, hey, Gary. So, I mean, these are topics that we're going to cover. Audio recordings. Have you ever listened through your audio footage or heard somebody's audio footage and either they hear something but you can't hear it, or vice versa? You hear it but they can't hear it. Why is that? What is creating that big difference as to why they can't hear it? You know, is it them? Is it their hearing levels? Is it the equipment you're using? Is it preset equalizers in whatever device you're listening to the recording on? Are you listening to it with headphones versus your house speakers? You know, there's a lot of different variables that affect a lot of different things that people are constantly digging for and searching for in the paranormal field. Hey, Nocturnal Nation.
Hey there.
And Gary, yeah, camera phones are no match for real cameras. But when you're coming into it fresh and you just kind of want to get your feet a little bit wet, use what you got. You know, so you're right. Camera, the phones matching actual camcorders, it's not really a comparison in a lot of ways, unless you just use auto setting for everything. If you like that auto setting feature, you need to learn not to. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you need to learn to get out of auto settings on anything you do, because it doesn't help. And again, these are all amazing topics that I plan on covering with you guys. And so anything you guys want to have us do a show on, maybe we'll create a thing on our community section, paranormal equipment topics, or something like that, and let people put in their feed of what they want us to do a show about. And maybe we can just kind of put together a list of different shows and topics to cover.
Well, just remember, it's not just equipment.
That's true.
But they're tools. Just tools, paranormal tools. So, I mean, we're talking like crystals. We're talking about energy. We're talking about, spirit box. We're talking about, protection, the sage. We're talking about other forms of protection. And So we're talking about the whole thing.
Right. And yeah, she's right. All those things are considered tools. And we are the biggest tools out there. And I'm not just talking about us two. We're all the biggest tools out there, because without us, what kind of research would really be happening? Think about that one.
That came out so funny.
Do you sense something? Do you feel something? What's your gut instinct?
But that's true.
You know,
it is. It is absolutely true.
You can't program gut instincts into a cell phone.
Right.
Yeah, you can't. So be the tool on your investigation.
I smell another T-shirt.
Don't buy the tool, be the tool.
How come we can think of them during the streams? We can't think of them outside.
I don't know. It's because I finally get a mic and I'm let loose. So sometimes that's all it takes. But no, then there are going to be other topics as well that at first may not initially seem like it's really tied to it, but it truly is. One of the things that I really had to study on for a long time was psychology. I really had to learn a lot about psychology. 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 I learned a lot about that.
Hooks on phonics work for me.
Yeah. Maybe I get a refund. But no, psychology. Watching how people are interacting with you. What are they doing with their hands? Where are they looking? How's their posture? You know, what kind of things are they talking about? How are they explaining them? There's a lot of different elements that comes into just really understanding the person you're talking to and understanding where they're coming from. Because honestly, people in the paranormal field or in the community who's been out there and working on helping people and educating people, they know that whoever they're talking about, they have to make sure that they are in a place to be able to accept the information that they're receiving. If there's medication, if there's psychological issues, if there's certain addictions like alcohol, things like that, that may be influencing what's happening, certain drugs that could definitely be creating certain issues. You might be helping one problem, but you may be enhancing another problem. So we also got to make sure that the people that we are trying to help is getting the right help that they deserve, because there is not a vortex in every closet. And if you hear of people going out there claiming there's a vortex in every closet, they should find something else to do. Maybe take up bowling. Bowling is a good.
Bowling is awesome.
Yeah, take up bowling.
We haven't done that in a long time.
No, we haven't. I almost got a 300 once. But anyway, I got a pin to prove it.
Ooh.
But you know, kind of going back in to the topic of taking care of the people as well. It's one thing. Very cool. I mean, film that. I mean, if the residents aren't there, or if whoever it is doesn't want to be in camera, just keep them off camera. But sometimes when you document just doing a cleansing, sometimes you'll find things when you're reviewing the footage. You don't have to film it for YouTube. You don't have to film it to blast it out there for the world to see. Filming it for yourself is very valuable. When we used to run our team, we used to run 8 cameras, and they weren't handheld cameras. They were surveillance cameras. So we had 200-foot coils of cable that we'd have to run, and batteries. And we would watch every single camera from the minute it comes on to the minute it shut off to see if there was something that took place that we didn't realize. So that's definitely an important one as well. Animals is another key to going into a location and seeing what's going on, because animals can be triggered by spirits a lot faster than we can sometimes. You know, there's a lot of different topics. There's a lot of things we can cover and we can share from our personal experience for you guys, and try new things out that you guys want to see us try out. I've heard of a couple apps that have come out that a lot of people really enjoy, but we haven't really done much with them. Let us know what kind of apps you want us to try. Nocturnal Nation got my crystals, crosses, sage, holy water.
Anointing oil and Bibles. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, just be safe. That's all.
Absolutely. And here's another thing to be aware of. The clients that you're working with. Now, again, I'm talking to the investigators who are out there trying to help. Well, kids is one that until they're old enough to be mature enough, that kids is another topic, but we'll visit that at
We're
some
not going to
point.
use the kids as a tool.
Yeah. No.
Mm-mm.
Man, I just totally squirreled. I just lost where I was heading with that.
Sorry, my bad.
Shame on you.
I had the clicker.
Oh, I know what it is. Religion. So if you're working with a specific client, wow, that is so weird. It looks like there is something right over
Oh
there.
my gosh, it totally does. Look at that.
Yeah, I can't.
That looks like a face right there.
Yeah, it looks like the forehead. And
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't see it.
Now, is that lens glare? No, I don't think that is lens glare.
I don't see that though when I turn around.
Weird. Well, here we go. So we're already getting our own activity. But religion, if you're working with a client, and one of the things you really have to find out with the client is what religious belief are they coming from. So you got to work within their religious belief a lot of the times, because ultimately, if they don't believe what you're doing is going to help, it's not going to help. It's really that simple. If you can, I poked him in the eye. Yeah, I think they're here supporting this new show. So thank you for your support. Please like and subscribe. I hope I'm looking in the right direction, but
Yeah, you are.
But yeah, I mean, so again, there is so many topics that we can share that we haven't shared yet.
It's so true.
You know, and I think it's going to help a little bit more for a lot of the newer people coming into the channel to see that we actually do know what we're talking about. We didn't just grab a camera and say, hey, I'm a ghost hunter, and ran out the door and made our first YouTube video.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we did this a long time.
Many years.
Before this even came together. So, cameras, lighting, audio, K2s, flashlights. Thank you, Daniel. I definitely appreciate that, but it's also her. So brother and sister. We'll say brother and sister. Thank you. But we'll even talk about things that are old school. If you want to talk about old school, get a candle. I mean, how old school can you get? You can actually utilize a candle and have it bend the flame at a 90-degree angle. You can ask the candle to have the flame get larger or smaller depending on the answer to the question. And there has been a time when you could actually ask the flame to change a different color, and it very well could change a different color. So water is another great one to use. Sometimes you can do water with ping pong balls floating in it. There's just so many different things you can do, so many different approaches.
We really haven't scratched the surface with our channel on what we've done on hunts yet. It's a lot different in a filming aspect and a format. So this will be really, really good to kind of bring the two worlds together.
And when it comes to a lot of that kind of stuff, my brain don't stop working. There is still a concept that I've been wanting to do for a very, 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 very long time. I just haven't been able to do it yet. And when I bring this concept out, you're going to see it everywhere. I guarantee you're going to see everybody doing it. But I'm not going to tell you what that is yet until I do it first, because I don't want you to beat me to it. Yeah. But then also, again, going to locations, that aren't for clients. It's just going to locations for experiences. Try to break the routine that everybody else does. That's probably a big one. We talked about in one of our previous shows, gifting the spirits, right? Mm-hmm. Bringing a gift, an offering to a spirit. Not an offering like, hey, here's a dead goat or something, but
sacrifice.
just bring in a toy car, something that you plan on leaving there for it. It's one thing to bring a gift for them to play with and then take it when you go home. It's like, here, you could have a ball. Now it's mine. I'm going to go home with my ball. Something you plan on leaving, even if it's a ping pong ball. Ping pong balls are really, really useful on investigations if used correctly. Interesting, I know, but it's true.
Hi, Lorrie.
Hi, Lorrie.
Glad you made it.
We are doing well. Thank you. Hope you are as well. But yeah, I mean, yes, offerings is huge. Yeah, and Native Americans. I mean, but I guess you got to also be careful of what your offering is going towards as well. Yeah, so you don't want to be offering it to something like what's in that ghost drill tunnel.
Yeah.
So
I bet they love that. I bet they totally appreciate that.
Gary, what is it? You can tell me.
No. They can't hear us.
No,
I won't tell them.
Can you keep a secret?
Yeah.
Good, we can too.
I'll work on it. I promise. Between the dog and the trailer and filming and editing and everything else, I think it makes sense why I haven't done it yet. But anyway, but yeah, there's also some things that are a lot of thinking outside the box, things that people haven't ever done before, or at least haven't ever thought about before. One experiment that we did is we took 2 audio recorders, okay, and we were at this location. It was in Santaquin. They've closed their doors now, so you can't go back there anymore. It was actually on an episode of Ghost Adventures, and if you happen to have seen that episode, you may recognize somebody that they interviewed on that episode. I won't tell you who it is, but you might recognize somebody on that episode. But we won't talk about that. What we did is we set up 2 teams, one on the top left of the location, one in the bottom right of the location. Both teams were far enough away from each other that they couldn't hear each other, and they started doing their own EVP sessions. And when they were done, they finished up, and both groups said, yeah, not a whole lot happened. What I did is I took the video recording from upstairs, and I matched it to the response or to the audio recorder that was playing downstairs. And I took the video footage of the team that was downstairs and I synced it up with the audio footage from what was going on upstairs. And believe it or not, the answers were coming through to the opposing team. It's hard for me to explain, but hopefully I'm making somewhat sense. But the answers were coming through
from a different place in the whole building.
Completely different section of the building. And so, I mean, doing experiments like that, it's like, what does it hurt to try something new? What does it hurt to break the boundary? I mean, a lot of people are talking about K2s, but it's easy to point out. Also, a child spirit can be mistaken for something much darker. How to tell the difference. Sometimes they're very tricky.
Yeah, sometimes it's very hard.
But just like when the K2 originally came out, it was not meant for the paranormal field. And if you already knew that, I'm proud of you guys for knowing that. If you didn't know that, now you know it too. The K2 was originally designed for electricians. So electricians would use a K2 to follow a line and see where there's a break in the wall. And so they'd know where they need to fix the electrical line. It was only afterwards it was brought in and started to be utilized in the paranormal field. And then scribing. Is that one that you've ever done yet?
No. I've seen it done firsthand. I've not tried it myself. So I would like to try that also. I'd like to learn about that.
Yeah, and we'd love to hear from you guys on things you've tried as well. So
fall candle wax tonight. I love fall smells, you guys. I love it. It's great.
Heck yeah.
And we had some rain today, which made it feel like fall.
Scared the dog though. Didn't care for the thunder.
Yeah. But and now it's back to summer, feeling hot and humid.
And another one that we want to also talk about too is the Gansfield experiment. I have
Yes.
not heard that brought up in a very long time because everybody now recognizes it as the Estes experiment.
Mm-hmm. Squirrel.
So the Gansfield experiment was actually where they used white noise, and they did still the same deprivation. Cover their eyes, cover their ears. Have them sitting down somewhere listening to white noise, and kind of going that approach. That was a Gansfield experiment, and if I remember correctly, that was actually came up by accident by somebody who was working in their office a long, long time ago, and something to do with their ceiling fan was putting off a noise, and they were actually starting to hear voices and stuff because the ceiling fan was malfunctioning, and that's what started the whole the beginning of doing the Gansfield experiment.
Sounds vaguely familiar.
So
Forgot about that.
Right, Lady Writer? I agree.
Where did I miss that?
Very bottom comment.
The very bottom comment. Oh, hey, well, thank you. I just was tired of it up, and I didn't have to wear headphones, so I said, screw it. Put my hair down.
Yeah, and I put my hair back, so there's that.
So there's that.
So we got a comment from Ed and Jen. I every now and then use dowsing rods. By the way, we've been lurking for the last 20 minutes.
You can lurk all you want.
Yeah, dowsing rods. I mean, if you want to see the very first time I've ever touched a pair of dowsing rods, go and watch the episode with Rochelle G. I can't remember what we titled it, but
Shapeshifter in a Haunted Cemetery?
Yeah. So that was the very first time I ever touched a pair of dowsing rods.
And they worked.
They worked. They certainly did.
They worked for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, foul smells, not foul smells. Yeah, exactly.
Well, if you start getting those foul smells, you got
That's
other
different.
things to. You got some other things to locate. But no, I mean we really want to dive into a lot of things.
Yes, it's there.
Yep. Mine has been tamed back for the moment. So, but yeah, there's so many different things that we want to talk about, things we have experienced and things that we're willing to go out and experiment with. I mean, we did try the board. That was out of curiosity. And that whole series explained why we had the board and
Right.
why we used it, where we used it, and what happened to it afterwards. We're willing to try it. We have a sketchy, creepy little friggin' doll right now that we've done some work with.
Yep.
And we're just kind of in observation mode right at the moment to make sure.
There's some things you don't know yet about that.
Well, great.
So, well,
here we go.
Yeah.
So Daniel Poulin wants to know, how can you tell dowsing rods are
There we go.
reliable? A slight twist of the wrist and it moves. Same thing can be said with flashlights. Same thing can be said with K2s. Same thing can be said with millimeters. Same thing can be said with necrophonics. Same thing can be said with, if you kind of get my drift, there's a lot of ways that you could debunk or choose not to believe in a specific tool or choose not to believe in a specific approach. For me, I didn't really hold a lot to dowsing rods myself until I had them in my hands and I put them to use, and I did my own experimenting with them. I did my own approach, I guess you can call it, with it, because just like the flashlights, I like to debunk the flashlights. There are times where I'll be asking questions and a flashlight will light up, and I'll say, am I talking to a mill? And the flashlight will light up to say yes. And I'll ask a couple questions and I'll say, so I'm talking to a female. Is that correct? And if that same light turns on, then I know, okay, well, you just contradicted yourself. So I'm not holding value to what this is saying. Some people will say flashlights are good for using as a flashlight, nothing else. which is totally fine.
That's true too.
But for me, the dowsing rods, I held myself as still as I could. I locked my knuckles together side by side when I was doing it, and I was trying to be very careful. And the way they were swinging, I mean, the way they were answering a lot of the questions, I mean, it's all a matter of what you accept to be legitimate, what you accept not to be. Here's a good example for you. This is going back to our old Asylum 49 days. We used to hold events there where we'd take new people in. We'd actually set up a paranormal investigation for them. And we'd have it organized, so we'd have separate teams, and each team would go to a different section of this old hospital, and we would show the people how we conduct different types of sessions. I had a skeptic in with my group, and so when I had this group in, I think there was like 5 or 6 people in with my group, and we were over where they did a lot of the lab work and stuff, but there was a lot of reports of a lot of activity being there. So I took out, I think I had like 4 or 5 flashlights, and I took each one of them out and I set them up, and I had a guy tell me, well, how do I know you didn't rig your flashlight? So I took my flashlight and I literally dismantled it, pulled the light bulb out, pulled the springs out, pulled everything out, laid it all out on the counter so I could look at it. I put it all back together and set it back up, and we started going, and it started responding again. And he still didn't believe it. He was still thinking, yeah, I think it's this, I think it's that. And I was like, okay, I'll tell you what, do you have a flashlight? And he happened to have a mag light, which was awesome. I was like,
yeah.
It's like, all right, so here's what you do. You set your flashlight, you set it on the counter. And then at this point, like I said, we had like 5 or 6 flashlights set up in this entire room. Right. So we start asking questions, lights are turning off and on all over the place, dancing around. Okay. It's like a rock concert. All right, cool. It's like, okay, so now it's time to get serious. So we need to establish one flashlight. And when we ask a question and your answer is yes, this flashlight is the one that lights up. Will you turn on what light you want to use for yes? That guy's light turned on. So, all right, great. So now we need to establish one for a no light, another one turned on. And so for the next 15 or 20 minutes, we're asking questions. The only 2 flashlights that are turning on is his for yes and the other one for no. None of the other flashlights are turning on during this whole time. And I think I actually have an old video of this posted on one of my old channels. And so when we were at the end of our session, I was like, okay, so if you don't mind, can you turn on the rest of the flashlights in the room so we know where they're all at? And one by one, all the other ones turned back on.
That's how you know.
By the time we were done, that gentleman walked up to me and shook my hand, and he said, you just made me a believer. So it's a matter of what you believe, and it's a matter of what you trust, and it's a matter in what you can do and what you can work with that you believe in. That is more of a personal preference. It's just like trying to convince somebody that the paranormal field exists, trying to convince people that certain pieces of equipment do actually work is firsthand experience. That's the only way you're going to be convinced. You're only going to be convinced that ghosts are real when you actually experience a ghost. So
yeah, try it for yourself and get the proof if they work. Yeah.
We're going to just share what we've done.
Right.
That's all we're doing. And hopefully bringing on other guests to come on and do that as well. But
yeah, I think so, because the first time I used them was the same night, and honestly, they didn't work for me as well as they worked for him, because if you go back in the video, they told me it's easier for them to communicate with me through other energetic means. And so that's the way they chose to connect with me. So it also depends on them and their energy level and your energy level and how it's easiest for them to come through. For some people, it may not work, and that's okay. That's totally fine. There's no right or wrong.
Yeah, they're right. There's more comments below.
Yeah, I didn't realize wow, I'm behind, way behind.
So Daniel said, I wish I could do some investigations, but not much chances around here. I think spirits are...
Where am I? Is it this one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
are repulsed from me. Daniel, I have a strong feeling, man, that me and you have a lot in common when it is in regards to this. Some people don't have the experiences as much as other people do. In fact, for a long time when I was in the field, very, very little would happen when I was there. That's how I ended up getting the nickname the paranormal deterrent. Because there could be other people in a room, all this activity is going on. The minute I step my foot into that room, everything stops. The whole time I'm sitting there, nothing is happening. The minute I step my foot out of that room, all of a sudden the activity picks back up again.
It's true.
And so I think me and you have a lot in common, but when the time is right and when the situation is right, you will have your experience if you're meant to have your experience. And I believe you are. I believe everybody is meant to have some sort of an experience.
Whether you recognize it as such might be a little different, but I think we all have them.
I think it's just a matter of being open-minded and aware enough when it happens. Hey, Paul. Yeah. See it, experience it. You'll believe it. That's really what it is. Daniel Poulin says, I'm extra sensitive about mental links with close ones, though. See, everybody has their own gift. Everybody has their own talent. You know, me, I feel like I'm more of a protector. I feel like I block a lot of spirits because I need to keep the people around me safe. That's what I believe. Could be wrong.
But it works. I'll tell you firsthand, it works.
Gary is asking, Josh, that could be that you're not easily manipulated. Yeah. When I'm working with a team of 5 people that I fully respect and I fully trust, and I know that what they're telling me is 100% true, I know that the situation isn't what's manipulating me. If you mean the spirits can't manipulate me, I could see that as well. I have seen a full body apparition. I have seen crawlers. I have had my experiences from time to time. But I think I block a lot of the more nasty ones. Just my energy. Nothing I do, nothing I say, nothing. No what. It's kind of like training the dog. I'll just growl at the dog and he'll sit down. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know, she'll growl at the dog and it's like playtime.
It's exactly what happens. Like, cool, what we're going to do? Chew on your arm.
So, and yeah, ghosts don't always come out on cue.
Exactly. Yep. And that's exactly right. I mean, when we went up to the Pinwheel Cemetery, we had a little bit happen, but it seemed like the more they got familiar with us and the more we got familiar with them, the more it's just like meeting your next door neighbor for the very first time. You know, there's only certain things they're going to share with you on that first interaction. And then the more they get to know you, they know, okay, this person's not a wacko. I can tell them about other personal things. Spirits can be the same way. They're not always just going to be an open book and just tell you their whole life story. Some will, a lot won't.
So, I mean, that's why we're so excited about this new show for you guys. That's why we love the fact that we're actually going to dive into a lot of these because they have no sense of time. Yeah, I truly believe that. Talking tech, talking equipment, talking approaches, talking theories, talking experiences, talking about protection, talking about sensing, you know, how to control what you're picking up on and how to control what you're hearing and seeing. Talking about voodoo, not voodoo, voodoo. I'm talking about that because I actually know somebody, and if I can get her to come on the show one of these times, she is very well versed in it, and she's done a lot of work in the field for a very, 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 very long time. So I reached out to her once already, but I'm going to reach out to her again about possibly being on one of the shows to talk about it. Danielle, do you think they can sense that you're not afraid of them? I kind of think that way because I've been in places others have had experiences. It's possible. I'm not going to shoot any theory down. I'm not going to shoot any idea down. It's very possible. I mean, I've been in places by myself where I've been creeped the hell out. I've been standing there by myself in the hallway, and all of a sudden all the chills and all the hair on every part of my body starts standing up, and I'm like, oh crap, what am I doing here? Why am I here? Take a deep breath and say, you know what? I'm here. I'm going to experience it. Whatever happens, happen. And I just kind of stand my ground. It's like, okay, I'm ready. And nothing happens. I think it's like psychologically I mess myself up more than I do anything else.
I think so. Yeah, they're all different gifts.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that.
Absolutely. So we're getting close. Hey, Rochelle G, thanks for hopping in.
Hello.
I let my defenses down. I wish there was an enforcer protector with me at problems. I usually go alone, but I enforce with armor of God, so I really don't worry. That has been a part of my life. Yeah.
Hey, it's working for you.
That's it. It's the belief structure you're going in with it. That's what protects you. It's who you believe in that it's protecting you. It's what you believe in that protects you. Not everybody shares the same belief system on the religious basis, but everybody is. I wouldn't say. Well, I would like to say everybody has had some kind of a paranormal encounter, but every religion has had some type of a paranormal encounter that they've had to deal with in whatever way they chose to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
So stick with your beliefs. Stick with what you feel keeps you safe. Learn as much as you can and grow as much as you can, because the more you learn and grow, the safer you're going to be, right? Right. It's kind of like riding a motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the same way. Riding a motorcycle versus the paranormal field. That is ironic, but it is accurate, because the first time I checked my motorcycle out, I walked it over to the church 2 blocks away to drive it around in the parking lot. The next day, I was doing 70 miles an hour down a side road.
With me on the back.
With her on the back.
Woo!
She was having more fun than I was. I was just like, stop hitting me in the head with your helmet. So, but we are coming close to the end of the hour. So I do want to reiterate, if you guys want to give us feedback on things you want us to do episodes on, comment in the video after the stream is over, or instead of the chat. Comment down on the bottom. We'll be putting something up in the community section as well for you guys to comment on. Mm-hmm. Paratech is tech support for the paranormal. We want to provide tech support any way we can for you guys, even if it's just a learning educational thing. If you don't necessarily want to go out and try it, but you want to learn more about how we work it, that's what it's all about. We want to be tech support for you guys. If you want us to try out a new app for a while, we'll try out a new app for a while. If you want us to do a unique experiment that you haven't really seen a lot of people do, let us know. This is your platform to learn and grow and understand the equipment and why it's used and how we utilize it and how we think that it's best for communicating with certain spirits at certain times. So,
as well as other tools.
Be the tool. Don't buy the tool.
I love that.
Remember, spirits are people at one time and place, and when you talk to them as if you would be talking, you were there before. You do not try to be another Zach Baggins. Instead, be real. I agree with that. Eddie agrees with that. Marianne agrees with that, but there's still people out there that won't agree with that. And, all I can do is tell you what I do. And I could share my viewpoints and my opinions on how I view it needs to be done. I know there's still going to be people out there that's going to go out and talk trash. I know there's still going to be people that go out there and try to berate and piss off the spirits and try to get them to punch them or scratch them or,
right.
And usually a spirit would just look at somebody like that, say, you're a moron, and I'm walking away. And you also have to remember, Zach Baggins is an entertainer. I'm just leaving it at that. He's an entertainer. So, but again, this show is for you guys. It's funny. We got 13 viewers. Lucky 13.
Have you tried Perilous or Portal?
Not yet. Is that an app?
I don't know what that is.
If it's an app, or yeah, I mean, we can look into it and find out. Again, we'll be putting some comments up in, or we'll be putting something on our communities tab. We'll also comment in this video down below. Our first video will be coming out next week. These are going to be pre-recorded shows. The live streams are going to be a little bit hit and miss, but most of the time it's going to be pre-recorded. So communicate through the comments, communicate through email, communicate through
The social media
platforms, and we'll stay in touch with you, and we'll cover these topics with you guys. We love you. We want to share our information. We want to share our experiences, and we want to help somebody else who truly needs the help and who truly wants the help. So with that being said, thank you guys for hanging out with us. Thank you for talking about this. And we are really, really, really excited about this new show coming out. And,
yeah, we are.
And we are just completely stoked that we're actually going to be sharing our past even more with you. Technical Investigations of Paranormal Activity. TIPA. That's where it came from. Now we're Paratech.
Yep.
And we even have our own little face that's still over there staring at us. Come on, where is it? Poke it out.
There it is.
Poke.
You got him.
I got him in the eyeball. Dead Wave is another one that I've heard about. That's another one that we can look into as well. So
these are good. These are good.
Yeah, please leave these ideas and comments again in the comment section of the video or on the community tab when we put that new post up for you guys. We definitely want to try everything. We want to try anything that you guys suggest. Just one thing at a time. You know, you got to take baby steps. You can't do everything all at the same time because then you don't know what's actually working. So love you guys. Thank you very much for supporting us on the new show. We will be live tomorrow for Learning Bigfoot at 6 p.m.
Yes, we will.
Mountain Standard Time. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, 6 p.m. If we're not on at 6 p.m., we're not going to be on. It's the easiest way to figure it out or to follow us. So that notification thing on YouTube sometimes doesn't quite work. So
yeah,
6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time to set your alarm. You'll know if we'll be online.
A little side note on the notifications that I learned from somebody. I apologize. I don't remember who it was that told me. But apparently the question mark was YouTube messing with settings on the notifications. Someone said they went through and 10 of their subscribers, they had set all notifications to, and it went to, what did I tell you it was? It was something like a partial. It did some sort of partial notifications. So check to make sure that it's set to all instead of whatever the other setting is. I can't remember off the top of my head, but that could be why.
And we got to let you guys go because Rochelle G is premiering right now.
Oh, we got to go.
So we love you. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Love you.